Hello, hello, hello. This is Corey Thompson from Dice Tower Gish, Gen Con, Play to Z, all sorts of stuff.
And this is Stephen Bonacore, the Podfather of gaming. You are listening to Board Games Insider, episode 408. And we're recording this, well, Corey is on February 17th, and I am on February 18th, 2026. Board Games Insider, powered by Board Game Geek. Corey,
Pretty good, pretty
we do
good.
it. We do it again from a 15-hour difference in time, something like that. I don't know.
It's crazy. There's such a big time difference that we're almost the same time. So you are a mere 3 hours earlier than me, but a day
Next
ahead.
the next day, it absolutely kills me when I forgot to call my mother yesterday because I have to call her only a certain time because then she's sleeping like at like 8 o'clock at night. So
Yep.
it's so hard. So what I just to tell the listeners what I did yesterday when we were going to plan, I knew I was going to do it about this time. I said, Corey, 9 a.m. Auckland, New Zealand time. Figure out what time that is for
You figure
you.
out what that is.
I don't
Yeah.
want to do it. It's just I don't want to get online. I don't want to do it. I'm playing a really good game right now, which I was. We'll talk about that one. And then Corey
Awesome.
figured it out. What time is it by you?
It is noon.
12. 12 noon.
Yep.
12 noon. That's so weird,
12
right?
noon.
And 9 a.m.
No, the
here.
timing worked out perfect because I'll just go into I have been driving all over the west coast of, I'm going to say North America. So in the past 3 weeks, I was as far south as LA and Las Vegas and as far north as British Columbia, north of Vancouver,
Wow.
all driving. So I am now in my house. I'm back home in the Sacramento area, and I literally got in from driving from Seattle. I got in this morning about 3 hours ago. So this week, I had wonderful visit up in Seattle. I visited with friend Peter Adkison, and we
That's
played
awesome.
heavy games. It was fun.
Nice.
We played Food Chain Magnate, and we just went crazy with heavy games.
Nice.
Also, when we played Mega Civ, I think I mentioned last week, went a little further, went and visited Daryl Andrews in the town of Gibsons on the Sunshine Coast of British Columbia. For the first time in my life, I took a car on a ferry, and I recommend not arriving late for the ferry. That went poorly. Uh, I had
You
to
gotta
wait a
wait
really long
wait for the next
time
ferry, which is not like 10 minutes, right?
on
It's a long time.
standby. So
Oh,
special line standby. So I could have been bumped from multiple ferries.
oh my
But the town of Gibsons is the most gorgeous, idyllic beach town, vacation spot. Absolutely lovely. And Daryl, in his normal Daryl manner, he likes good food. He took me on a drive that was nearly 2 hours through windy, empty woods to a hiking trail you're not supposed to put a car on. And we drove on that for a while, and we ended up at a food truck on a walking only hiking trail that was the best seafood I've ever had in my life.
oh
And it
my
was the
God.
Sunshine Coast Seafood Company.
Because no
And
place in the world would it's obvious that on a food truck in the middle of a forest, that's where you would
it
find the
was in
best
the middle of a
seafood.
forest next to River Bay
Was yeah,
Ocean.
yeah. Where did
It
they get
was
their seafood? Did the
magnificent.
seafood come from a boat at least, for God's sakes, and it brought it there? I
Pretty
mean, like,
much the backyard. So
okay,
we had
some nice fish.
steamed crab, we had a
Nice.
chowder that was amazing. We had smoked steelhead and tilefish. It was so good. It just took a long time to get there, but it
Lovely,
was
lovely.
absolutely amazing.
Someday
Um,
Daryl will invite me also to his house. I keep
it is a
just asking people to
gorgeous
invite
house.
me.
This place was just amazing. So I took it ended up being 3 day drive home from British Columbia. down to Seattle, where I visited designer Ashwin Kamath, who's a good friend, and we went out to Laotian food, which, if you get a chance, amazing, so
Laotian.
good
Really?
in Seattle. Ashwin has the game Chicken Fried Dice coming up on Kickstarter pretty soon, and it is a fun, goofy game. You can just tell from the title, but he's an amazing up and coming designer and just a very good guy, very good friend. Um, Drove all the way down through Washington, through Seattle, through Portland, uh, all the way down, and now I'm home again. And unfortunately, my poor wife injured her shoulder somehow.
Oh,
So she's
ouch.
got a torn rotator cuff and is just absolutely miserable.
Oh,
So I'm spending a lot of time helping with things you wouldn't think you normally need help with. You know, let me comb your hair for you. Let me
yes.
help you put this shirt on.
So, so besides throwing a fastball in baseball, I don't know how you tear a rotator cuff. I mean, what was she doing? Should I even
And the
ask? Or
honest truth is, she doesn't know what she did either. She
oh my
just kind of had a
God.
very, very sore shoulder one day, went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, yeah, that's what you did.
Wow. That is weird, but I
So,
hope she's better, man. That's a shame. That's going to be painful, of course, for a while.
I mean, she is so good and does so much to allow me to travel all the time like this. This is, I am more than happy to give back and pay back and help with things around here.
Right.
But it means that I may or may not make it to Gamma, which is in 2 weeks. I hope I do. And
I
I
know.
may or may not make it to Dice Tower West in Vegas, which is
I'm
in
crying. I know. I
three,
know.
4 weeks.
Got to
So
take care of
those
the
are
wife.
those are on hold a little bit, but yeah, a lot of trips coming up. I got to see what works and what doesn't.
Sure, sure, sure. And over here at the Podfather of Gaming, of course, on the epic 30 plus day trip, Australia and New Zealand,
That's
Sydney,
insane.
Sydney and Brisbane were fantastic. That was the land part of the trip. The Blood on the Clock Tower cruise, a 6 night cruise around Queensland, which is the northeastern state
Yep.
of Australia. My Australian geography not good, but I think that's where it is. They were all great. It was great seeing. There are some people play Blood on the Clock Tower 3, 4 times a day. These people are absolutely
Wow.
crazy. I know. I played one game on the whole thing. Um, then we flew to New Zealand, and we went to Hobbiton. It's called technically the Hobbiton movie set, and
That's so cool.
I it's indescribable. I mean, really, I kept my head, level set to like, okay, this is gonna look cool, but it's beyond like cool. Like you feel like you're a hobbit living in Hobbiton. That's how close you are to the entire thing. Because everything you see there are the things you saw in all the Lord of the Rings movies and all of the Hobbit movies. Phenomenal, indescribably good. And we had the behind the scenes tour so that we were able to then have a feast fit for a hobbit. And when I say a feast, I literally mean there were 23 of us, then all geeks, all gamers,
Wow.
and um, there was enough food without a doubt to feed 60 people. So we actually asked, I feel bad, like what's going to happen? Because the pigs are going to eat well tonight, is what she said. Because it's built on an actual farm. Now the wild the livestock is not, you don't see them walking around Hobbiton because that would make a bit of a mess. So you see them in the fields in the distance. So the pigs and the cows and the sheep get fed from what we did not eat. So that was great. I didn't have to feel too bad. But it's an amazing experience. We also saw literally behind the scenes, like how they maintain the place, how they do more costumes, how they build more of the woodwork and on the shops and the concept art that like John Howe and Alan Lee did during the filming of the movies. Um, yeah, I can't tell you if
That
you're a
is
Lord of the
so
Rings fan.
cool. I was always curious whether the beautiful exteriors and doors, whether there actually is an interior house inside there.
Yeah, and to give you the short answer of this, there are a total of 44 hobbit holes. 42 of them are facades. Some of them like just
Yeah.
open. They'll open a little bit, but That's it. There's
There's nothing.
a retaining wall in there so that it doesn't collapse on itself at some point. So they're facades that you look at and they're beautiful. Two of the Hobbit holes, not including Bag End. It's the old Gaffer's house and the Proud Feet house. Um, you can actually walk into those, and I did a movie video of that entire thing. So anybody out there who is my friend could go check out my Facebook page, and you'll see 4 different sets of pictures and videos that I took there. And I could absolutely move into one of those hobbit holes. That's
That is
how
so awesome.
perfect they were. The only thing, and including running water, the stove is actually hot. It doesn't have like, something to actually cook, but they actually made it hot that you can put your hand on it. The only thing not working was the toilet, though I tried.
Oh no.
I went into the bathroom. I'm trying to open the lid. That was not part of the working set. So it was really, really nice.
Wow.
And then from right now, actually, we are in Milford Sound, New Zealand. The ship is passing by this area. There's an unbelievable waterfall literally outside my window here. Absolutely stunning. People have called it, including Rudyard Kipling, the eighth wonder of the world. There's a lot of eighth wonders of the world, but this is the single most popular place in New Zealand. Number 2 is actually Hobbiton. This is the most popular tourist destination. It's gorgeous. These planes just keep landing. Small planes, like 4, 8-seater planes, they just keep landing. Like every 3 minutes, there's another plane coming in. So very popular area and just stunningly beautiful.
Wow.
On the cruise, it's a 12-day cruise this point. I played War of the Ring yesterday. I have a good feeling I'll get another 1 or 2 of those in before the end of this cruise. But the next 5 days after this, we're going to be in all different ports, and I'll report on that. There'll be more Lord of the Rings stuff going on because we're going to go to the Weta workshop in Wellington,
Nice.
and we're going to go to where they filmed some of the scenes. We're going to go there and you're going to see the backgrounds and stuff like that. So all of that coming up. And then, of course, Gamma and Dice Tower West, where hopefully Corey can make it. But if he can't, I will be just sad about it. Quick shout out to my buddy Eric on Hanui from Flatline Games. He has a new RPG out, and you can go to flatlinedgames.com and you'll find it. It's called Dead Man's Pass. He's created a new system called Insta Roll, designed for players who want to play often and more and spontaneously without planning. It's a quick 15 minutes to set up a game, and then you start playing. That's his pitch. I just wanted to mention because he's a great guy. He was a partner of mine at Stronghold Games. We did some games together. Flatlined with a D, flatlinedgames.com. Look for Dead Man's Pass. Let's
Very
get
cool.
over to the event deck. All right, Corey. You put like all the news here, and that's very nice of you. I appreciate it very
I
much.
put a few of them in. Yeah, this first news article is a follow-up on our friends over at Cool Mini. As you remember, Cool Mini Games had a lot of trouble. They sold off a lot of IPs. They were in tremendous debt. Um, and this is a new article from Board Game Wire. CMoN, valued at more than $7.5 million through successful share sale, will put a bulk of proceeds towards game development. So we also saw the announcement from Cool Mini of a schedule of their unfulfilled crowdfunding projects and when they were coming and assurance that they were coming. And this is more evidence to that end. They've raised enough money. They're just getting all their ducks in a row, which is good news for a change. Board game crowdfunding major CMoN has secured new capital for game development thanks to a successful share sale, which values the business at more than $7.5 million. The much needed capital raise is the latest move by CMoN as it continues its attempts to recover from massive losses racked up over the past 2 years.
Right.
So,
So they
it's good news. So it's just strong evidence that all of these questionable crowdfunding projects that we are all wondering about are yes coming and likely coming on schedule.
Yeah, so they raised in the new stock sale, they raised $1.2 million at a valuation of 7.5 million. So right, the whole company, based on what they were bringing money in at,
Yeah,
was valuing the company at $7.5 million. That's a very good sign that investors are believing in the company, that they will be able to survive, fulfill all of their liabilities, those crowdfunding campaigns, and continue. They mentioned here that the proceeds, the 1.2 million, are actually going to go towards game development, including prototype design, content development, artwork creation, while another such an amount of money would be used for marketing and events, including participation in trade fairs. So they're so they raised, I'm sorry, they raised approximately $2.4 million total, half of it going toward game development, half of it going toward marketing and trade fairs and stuff like that. So,
sure,
you know,
sure.
they've got, they still have a lot going on there. And while some of us, were ringing the death bell for CMoN, it's very, very good to see that that's not the case and that they will hopefully emerge in a very good way. Boy,
Absolutely.
what do you got here about MyMiniFactory? What is that?
This is from Ignacy, so I don't want to steal his thunder at all. So, My Mini Factory has acquired Thingiverse. So, the world's oldest and largest 3D printing community is now part of the MyMiniFactory family. So, Thingiverse is kind of the Wikipedia of 3D printing. If you wake up one morning and you decide, I want a little miniature of an anthropomorphic pangolin holding a spear. You can search for this on Thingiverse, and there might be files that already exist there for public consumption. It's an enormous database of things you can print. And the board game community really loves this database because I guarantee you, if there's a game you absolutely love, there's going to be some support files to 3D print things for the game you love on Thingiverse. So my mini factory, um, just a little bit of context here. This news story is direct from my mini factory.
Hmm.
My Mini Factory has spent over a decade building a thriving platform for creators and makers by creating value-added tools that allow our members to build sustainable businesses. That approach has led to over $100 million in payouts going directly to creators, more than a million paying customers, and thousands of independent designers. So they acquired Thingiverse and have now branded it as Soul Crafted. So in 2025, we launched the Soul Crafted initiative. Soul Crafted is our way of trying to protect human creativity from the flood of AI generated content that is now inundating online communities. It gives creators a way to say clearly, this was made by a person, not a prompt. It gives customer confidence that they are buying human made content. As part of our commitment to soul crafted content, My Mini Factory has adopted a zero tolerance stand on AI generated content on our platform. So, Thingiverse is now a platform on Soul Crafted.
So yeah,
So, it's a nice little packaging of everything.
have you ever heard of this? I'm sorry, not MyMiniFactory, but even Thingiverse. Have you ever heard of this? I never
Oh
heard of it.
yeah, Thingiverse has been around for a long, long time. It's
Oh, cool.
the go-to if you have a 3D printer. If you to see like if you have an idea of something to design and print, and you want to see if someone's already done it and save yourself some time and just look at what someone else has made,
Sure.
Thingiverse is where you look.
And then
That's
they
the
and they
first
have
place.
and they have people, and there's free content there as well as paid content, which is kind of cool. And they're not
Yes,
and they're not
absolutely.
changing, they're not taking, it says in the article, they're not taking anything that was free and moving it behind the paywall. They're keeping that free. Obviously, they're going to grow both sides of it, and most likely, of course, the paid content. But if there's something you really like and somebody created it, you should pay them a little bit to get those files so that you could then
Yeah,
3D print.
they specify that the open sharing culture that has defined Thingiverse is not going away with
Right,
this acquisition.
right, right, right. And
I think that's
now,
very cool news.
yeah, no, it is really, really interesting. And now something that I really love to see, and if you don't mind, I will take this one off of
Go for it, man.
ICV2. Netflix options Ticket to Ride for film and TV projects. Asmodee announced that Netflix has optioned the global rights to the Ticket to Ride board game series. The agreement between Asmodee and Netflix covers scripted and unscripted rights across feature films, TV series, and other formats for Ticket to Ride. The first project slated to go into development under this agreement is a feature film. This film will be written by Ben Meckler and Chris Amick and be produced by Darren Kyman and Asmodee. Eric Tannenbaum and Kim Tannenbaum from the Tannenbaum Company, and Jonathan Levine and Gillian Morimer from Megaflix. So they've got some pretty big names working on this thing. Um, Alan R. Moon, good friend of us, is ecstatic about this, as one could imagine. He's been Alan's pretty Alan's pretty good at keeping secrets because he said, I got something happening that I can't tell you about, Bonacore, but it's gonna be big. And I'm like, oh, come on, tell me. Oh, come on, tell me. He goes, nope, not telling you. And he kept it secret for a while. I saw him last month, and he was really glowing about the whole thing. And he will be the executive producer on the film, which I think is kind of cool too. I mean,
That's awesome.
executive producers, they don't have line responsibility, but they do have approvals of this or that, I guess. And so I
I
hope it.
I'm an executive producer.
So what do you do? Never mind. I don't even want to know.
You write the
It's
checks.
You write the check so Alan can write checks. Yeah, I'm sure he'll love that. All right. What else do we have here? We have a little bit more from ICV2, Corey. What is this?
Yeah, this is a little story that Wizards of the Coast announces a Magic Presents Pride 2026 Commander event.
Nice.
uh, featuring a new promo card. So, Wizards of the Coast announced Magic Presents Pride 2026, a new Commander events for LGS, which will take place between June 5th and June 14th. WotC celebrates Pride Month once again with a special Commander event. In this event, players will pick any two commanders and pair them up as a couple to do battle with a single deck. Essentially, the special rules for the event gives all legendary creatures the partner keyword. The goal of the event is to allow players to express what pride means to them by their
Oh,
couplings of commanders and give them a chance to use commander pairings that can create mega powerful combinations. I love this. This is great. They
yeah.
did a thing for Pride Month last year, and I just love the continued support from Wizards of the Coast and the Magic community.
That's great. I mean, this is the thing I love the most about our hobby, in all of its forms, from LCGs and CCGs to board games to miniatures and everything, is that, we are able to do this. And of course, the big guys can do this the best, right? The Wizards of the Coasts, Hasbro,
Absolutely.
as they could do this kind of stuff better than anybody, because they can bring so many resources to bear. Do you know what the partner keyword means? I don't know what that actually.
I
Um,
have been out of the Magic
yep.
community for long enough that I think I know, and if I start to describe it, I will be
So,
wrong and we will
yeah.
get hate mail.
Yes, let's not do it. But it's a beautiful. That's actually a really beautiful thing to. I mean, I'm sure it has something to do with the two work together better, right? They get together. The
Absolutely.
two creatures,
Yeah.
they're all going to give the partner keyword, so if they're both on the table, they do things better together, kind of thing. I'm sure something like that. Don't yell at us if we got that
So
wrong. I'm sure we got it wrong.
the
But
partner, specifically in the commander format, allows a player to use two legendary creatures as commanders if both possess the partner ability. So it allows you to take two legendary creatures and use them as one. So this promotion, this event during June is going to allow all legendary creatures to have the ability to partner up, which is just cool. And that's the whole thing about commander format is it allows chaos. It is a way to showcase exciting new cards without worrying whether they're specifically going to be a winning deck. It's that was the whole driving force behind Commander.
very cool. Very, very cool. All right. Last news item here. Logan
This,
Paul
yeah,
sets a record-breaking Pokemon card sale. Uh, is
yeah.
isn't this guy?
So
Look, I'm not like into so much pop culture. Isn't this the guy that fights like people? Like he fought like what's his name? He
yeah,
fought Mike Tyson and stuff like that. Isn't it him?
yes,
Yeah.
it is him.
He
But I
he's I
mean,
mean,
I think the
can I say he's kind of douchey? He's a little douchey, don't you think so?
I'm
I
not
don't know.
I'm not going to comment. I
Yeah.
just find it interesting. He previously set the record on a Pokemon card sale for this same card. And now he has sold the card for $16.5 million. This is a single Pokemon card. It
In
is a
Japanese.
it's a PSA rated 10
Hmm.
flawless Pokemon Pikachu Illustrator card, which is the cream of the crop, very best. And yes, it's a Japanese card. 16.49 million he sold it for. Now, this also sparked all sorts of controversy because anything around Logan Paul, anything around that much money, there's always going to be controversy. People are arguing, hey, it's not really a PSA 10 card. This is fake. And it's complicated because he owned a PSA 9 version of the same card and traded it with an extra $4 million for this PSA 10. So he had
Huh.
both a 9 and a 10. The other thing I find really interesting here is he was one of the driving forces behind this company called Liquid, which would sell shares of super valuable cards. So you could purchase 10% of this $16 million card. And so cards would own, people would own percentages of the card as a valuable commodity. And certainly, if you've got an item as small as a card that's worth $16 million, why not split up, have a group own it in certain percentages, things like that.
Sure.
And there was a time where this exact card was up for percentage ownership through Liquid, but it was canceled, and Logan Paul ended up buying all of the pieces of this card. So there's a lot of history behind this exact card.
Yeah.
However, the TLDR is that it has broken a new record for how much a card sells for, $16.5 million.
So he owned it and he sold it and made 16 and a half
Yes,
million dollars. Really?
exactly.
Really? Really? I
Well,
can't.
made is a loaded term because he put a lot of money into it. It certainly accrued value between the time he bought it and the time he sold it. But yes, it is sold for $16.5 million.
Uh, it's not worth as much as the One Ring, which was $2 million. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know.
Mm.
It's just really weird. Uh, Not being a fan of Pokemon at any time in my life. I've seen the cards, played a little bit. Um, $16.5 million for a single piece of paper is just a little out of control. All right.
It's
Well,
it's cardboard. It's fine card
it's
stock.
fine. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
That's the end of the news for this week. Let's get over to strategy and tactics. All right, we have Fabian Canas from Switzerland. He's at Fabian C. This one coming just from November 15th, so we got some current questions. He says a bit more
Yeah.
serious question. I guess he probably took one a couple weeks ago, maybe even last week. Some episodes ago, Corey talked about his love for neoprene mats to replace game boards. Aside from the fact that he is clearly wrong on the subject, the art is more
Clearly.
blurry, the text is more readable, etc. On he's text is less readable, so he doesn't like the neoprenes. What are your thoughts on the environmental impact? Oh, you want to hurt us here of these neoprene
I
mats?
know.
A cardboard is recyclable, whereas neoprene clearly isn't, and the energy needs of manufacturing is larger for neoprene than cardboard. Come on, Fabian,
I mean,
that's
I have to I actually have to agree with Fabian on almost all of these points. I enjoy playing a game on neoprene more than I enjoy playing it on cardboard. The feel of it, being able to pick up the cards, the things don't slide. However, I agree. If there's a lot of text that needs to be read, I've been frustrated with neoprene having fuzzier text. And the art, blurry versus non-blurry, that one I'm okay with. Uh, Old televisions had no resolution but a lot of color and things looked pretty good. So I can see blur being a positive value. I'm not going to argue that one. And environmental impact, you're totally right. I don't want neoprene for all of my games, but the ones I play frequently, I really do enjoy playing them on neoprene, and I should limit it more.
The fact is, this is not a product that's going to get thrown into a dump at any point. You're going to get it, you're going to put it there, it's going to last for dozens of years, forever, essentially. So everything costs energy and water and things to make. This is a non-disposable product, as well as the cardboard game boards. We're not throwing those out. We're keeping those too, so they're more recyclable, but we're not recycling them. We should be more interested in all the amount of plastics that don't get recycled, like from all of the products that we use. And that go immediately, right? You use a laundry detergent and you throw that out. I recycle it. I hope it gets recycled. I've heard things where like sometimes things don't get recycled, even though they're supposed to be. That's to me where you can make your impact. We can all make an impact by, products that don't have stuff that's gonna absolutely get thrown out into a landfill. This is not gonna
Yeah.
do that. This is gonna be around for 30 years, more, forever,
But I do want to recognize this is something that should be thought about. I certainly don't want all of our board games having neoprene replacing cardboard.
We certainly are not going to do that. This was a special one
Yeah.
for a special game kind of thing, of course. Greg Senko, he's at leprey_con. Good buddy. Um, it's been 10 years since I played Pathfinder and over 30 since I played D&D. Greg, I'd love to get back into the latter, D&D. Can someone explain the major differences between the two and how Dragonlance and Forgotten Realms play into it? The short answer
Uh,
is, go ahead, Corey. You'll
yeah.
start,
I'm
and
the
then I'll finish.
wrong person for
Yep.
this.
Yep.
My D&D experience went until probably the early 80s, so that's how long it's been. Loved D&D. D&D second edition is really as far as I ever got, and I never played Pathfinder. I feel terrible. I'm a poser in the industry. I'm the temp. I've
Well,
never ventured there.
well, you just haven't played a lot of different systems. Neither have I, actually. I haven't played a lot of different role-playing systems. I played a bunch.
I
Um,
played a lot from the 80s, but I mean, that's a long time ago.
right. So Greg, the one thing I can tell you is that I can speak directly to Pathfinder First Edition, which I ended a campaign only about a year or so ago, and D&D 3.5, which is obviously already quite old. Um, they were very close to each other. Um, a lot of people called Pathfinder First Edition D&D 3.75. It basically took the rules and just amped them up a little bit. They were very similar systems. Where Pathfinder 2 moved, I really don't know because I have not dabbled in it. But I have played D&D 5, which is a really good, more streamlined but still very rules heavy system for D&D. I like D&D 5 quite a bit. Some people rail against it a little bit because characters become very similar on certain levels. There are not as many character classes. They've kept it more streamlined. So that's what I will say about that. Now, we also have good buddy, friend of the show, Eric Longenbach from Sweden. He's at Logness. He answered the question here for Greg. He put it in the
He did what I could not.
he put it in the guild. The link is too long, but it's if you go over to the guild and you look through on I believe we're on page 30, 30, sorry, 63 of the questions, and you look for
Woo!
login back. You'll find that he actually has a link there to an article that he wrote and posted on the differences between Pathfinder and D&D and things like that. So Michael Fleming, he's at EVV Gamer. of the games you've played, which is the best ugly game, most enjoyable, even though hard on the eyes, and worst beautiful game, look great to look at, but not enjoyable?
I love
Or
this question.
yeah,
Absolutely love this
and,
question.
and this question is actually going to be part of our playtesting, but I didn't do that on purpose. You created a question that's almost exactly this. Um,
Really? Oh, I
yeah,
forgot about that because I write like a bunch of questions and
yep.
then just let you go through them until you panic that there's none left.
That's exactly right. And literally, I put it there, and it's the question in playtesting is very similar to this. So, Corey, do you know of
Wow.
a game, either direction, that is ugly as all get go, but it's great, and
Yeah.
a horribly uh, and a beautiful game, but that's just crappy. I can't think.
So
Go ahead.
ugly game. The classic was always Food Chain Magnate. It really was. It looked like a
Yep.
prototype, and it's a very well done game. I don't think it quite qualifies anymore because Lucky Duck put out this supreme mega edition that is gorgeous, and it retains a lot of the character of the old one as far as the art style, but it's so pretty. The one that I go to a lot is actually R&R games. Apologies. Um, Mystic Mystic Paths.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a really, really fun word game with bizarre minis for no reason and a board that's hard to figure out, and just the production is bizarrely ugly.
And
But the game is ridiculously fun.
I um I barely want to comment on that because Frank and Dan DiLorenzo, the owners of the company, are very good friends. But
They're good friends of mine too, but I mean, I love the game,
I told them, I'm like,
but
guys,
it
this
looks
is
so weird.
not not good as a production, but the game is really solid. If you ever play Mystic Pass, check it out.
Absolutely.
The um the one on the that is ugly but just great gameplay was at least the original, and I think it's changed in its next implementation was Vegas Showdown. Vegas
Yes.
Showdown
Agreed.
is like a 10 rated game for me. I love playing this game where you're bidding on rooms, types of parts of your hotel casino that you're building in Las Vegas. You're all Vegas moguls trying to, get the best, exclusive lounge and best slots and this and that, and you're bringing up your casino on how much money's coming in and how many people are coming. It's such a great game. The original production by Hasbro
Yeah.
was so bad. There were pieces of paper, where the boards that you had to lay
Yep.
down, and even like and then the tiles, they had no artwork on them. They just had color. It was yellow if went in the
Yeah.
casino. It
Well,
was
a lot
blue
of
if
the
it went in the
older
hotel.
games had that poor production. If you remember the original Illuminati,
Oh yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
actually had money that was a big sheet of money, and you had to cut all the little dollar bills out of this huge sheet of little tiny dollar bills. It was
Mhm.
ugly, 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 and such a good game. This is
Yep.
Illuminati Steve Jackson games.
There we go. There we go. All right, what do we got here next? It's from Shri, who is Shriank on BGG at Shriank. As
Shrey.
we Shrank? I don't know.
Shrey.
Shriank at
Uh,
Shriank. That's it.
I know.
Okay. As we approach the end of 2025, we start to think about the major awards for the year. Yep. In some industries, the awards involve campaigning. The Oscars are
Yeah.
particularly notorious for this, with advertisements, billboards, screenings, with the director and star
Stars.
stars, etc. Okay,
Yep.
yeah, and stars. There was something else there. Do any of the board game industry awards have an element of campaigning? Given the Spiel des Jahres impact on sales, it seems like there could be motivation to do so. And
Now,
he
I,
says, P.S.
yeah.
Go ahead, Corey.
I've seen very little campaigning from Spiel des Jahres, although there is behind the scenes campaigning that doesn't really come forward, but they're pretty good about separating their judges from people trying to influence their judges. Where I see campaigning are the Golden Geeks with BGG and Dice Tower Awards. Those have a decent amount of campaigning because there's a public vote involved.
Yeah.
So you get people saying, "Hey, talk about this game," or if you could mention our game, or things like
Right.
that.
Certainly, be the BGG Golden Geek Awards would be in that thing. The Dice Tower Awards, I believe, have a committee of people that vote. They don't go out to the public.
Yeah,
I don't think they do, right? I was used to be on the committee. I'm not any longer. The
yeah,
the
yeah.
the,
Same.
the one set of awards that are were notoriously sketchy were the Origins Awards. They are no longer like that. They're now a committee votes, and it's very on the up and up. But there were used to be that people used to hand out things at Origins to vote for their games and give away stuff to vote for their games because it was all based on popularity. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Now it's on the up and up. Spiel des Jahres, I think, it's first of all, it's the only one that has real impact on sales. And they do a great job,
Yep.
I think, of maintaining it's a bunch of people who play lots of the games, and then it goes, to less and less people, and playing as games get knocked out, those people are playing the games, and they're not influenced to the extent that human beings can not be influenced by external factors. They're not supposed to
I
be.
think they do a good job, and they've been doing it since 1979. People usually don't realize Spiel's been around for that long.
Right. So,
And then there's a PS from
yes,
Shrey
what
also.
does that mean?
Shrey says my H index is the same as Corey's at 26. Word.
What's
Perhaps we could work on that together next time we're at the same convention. Would love that. So
what's an
H index, that is my absolute favorite board game statistic. And it's in Board Game Stats, which shout out best app ever for tracking games and tracking plays. Um, your H index is the biggest number for which you can say I played X games X times.
right, right,
So, Stephen, do you have four different games that you have played four times each?
of
You
course,
almost certainly do.
sure.
So, it's at least four. Do you have 20 different games that you have played 20 times each?
I'm sure I do.
I doubt it.
Really?
So,
I bet I
it's
do. I
it's
bet I do. 20?
hard to get 20 different games, each of which you have played 20 times.
I'd have to go and like look at my entire.
Okay.
I
It
would say
gets
the answer
harder and
is
harder
yes.
as that number goes
Sure,
up. And
yeah.
it's nice because it mixes both diversity of games
Yeah.
and how many repeat plays you've had. And our industry is pretty guilty of not having repeat plays. We tend to do a lot of diversity and very few
Mhm.
repeat plays
Yeah.
in general.
My
So I love the H index because it brings both of them in.
I would get a lot of hits on that from old games like Carcassonne, Catan.
Oh,
I
sure.
guarantee that those games hit, and I have no proof of that, but I guarantee I've played those games 20 times. So I think that I have this index
I'm not
at
saying it's
20.
impossible. It's
Yeah,
just it tends to be lower than you think it is when you
yeah.
start tracking titles.
Hear
And
you, hear
I
you.
agree, I wasn't tracking titles in the 90s, so I
Right.
don't know. I probably have Catan in there. I don't know if I've played Carcassonne 20 times. I probably have.
Oh, I
But yeah,
definitely have played Carcassonne over 20 times. But I mean, again, can't prove it. I would just guess it and whatever. Um, Valentin Cretin, he's an often poster here from France. He's at Kuntz, Kuntz. Okay, so serious question. So serious question here, but I don't know how to formulate it. So it does not offend some people. So I'm sorry in advance that was not my intention. Uh-oh, I'm scared to read this
I've
question here
read it
now.
already. I think you formulated it perfect.
I
So he
formulated the
writes, yeah,
in the last few
he writes.
years. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So he writes, in the last few years, more and more studies have been published regarding neurodivergent people and their place in hobby worlds, niche or not. The hobby board game world is not exempt from this. My question is, do you feel the hobby gaming world is more welcoming or hostile for neuroatypical people? Are there any changes you noticed since you started? And can you maybe share examples of things that made your gaming group or company a better place to include them? It's a great question, and I do feel that our hobby is more welcoming to neuroatypical than other hobbies I've experienced.
Sure,
And the major reason for it is I think the population within our hobby is higher than average for neurodivergent, neuroatypical people. A
sure.
lot of people with autistic tendencies, neurodivergent ADHD tendencies tend to like board games. I know I do. I like tracking stats and keeping track of little bits and the feel of little pieces. Those are all things that I think are desired in the neurodivergent community. Um, I think it's been getting better since I started in board games as well. I see more people freely. I mean, back in the 60s, we'd say letting their freak flag fly. There's more people doing things the way they want to do it without concern that they're going to get ridiculed for it. We're a very welcoming community in that way. You want to dress different than the cultural standard? Go for it. You want to act different? Go for it. Don't hurt anybody,
Absolutely.
but go for it. You want to do things that at one time were considered bizarre and weird and don't go near that guy? Do it.
Yeah,
We are the place for that. And I've seen it both in my personal community and in the gaming community as a whole.
right. And that was perfect. I really can't add much to that, what you just stated. We are welcoming, right? That's the whole thing. We just want people in to play games with. So besides like actually going to into the LGBTQ plus community, for a hobby, we're as welcoming
Now, be
as anyone.
careful. LGBT, that is for welcoming. We are extremely welcoming to LGBT, but I don't want to imply in the least little bit that
No,
LGBTQ is neurodivergent.
no, 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 no. I'm just talking about welcoming now. So we're
Yeah.
welcoming of them. We're welcoming of the neurodivergence. I was just trying to make the correlation that like unless you go into a community, which obviously is very welcoming of people that are in that community, we welcome like everybody. I mean, as a publisher, right? Of
We
course, we
certainly
sell games.
try and aim for it. And I can't speak for everybody. I mean, there's going to be incidents because people are people.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I'm proud to be part of this. That if you love board games, please join us. That's really the bottom line on this whole thing. Maxwell Bachman Whitney at Maxwell underscore Oviedo Games. How do you feel about trading card game model? Do you think it's inherently exploitive, or does the TCG model offer benefits that the average consumer may not recognize? Do TCGs offer something besides the collection element that expandable or living card games do not?
Wow. It's a good question because TCGs definitely have the dopamine hit of the gamble model, of the loot box model. And is it exploitative?
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit, but there are people who really, really enjoy the blind box random collection method. Look at this. Look at the exciting one I found. Um, and they are lifestyle type games. That's part of the problem of going into those as a business. So that's the one reason I'd say they're not purely exploitative is most consumers will adopt one and it's very difficult for another one to break in. So it's not like we have a jillion TCGs out there that are all trying to get that gambling dopamine hit from their players. Um, it's a rough question. There's you can go either side on that one.
Yeah, I don't go with the exploitive part. Those who make them are usually making exactly one. Well, Wizards of the Coast does both Pokemon and Magics because they're that big and they can do it.
Different
Um,
audiences, really.
very different, and they're very different audiences, which is a really good point there, right? So you wouldn't think about even trying to collect both anyway. And I always say about like collectible card games, the cards you bought 5 years ago aren't not playable anymore. You play them casually because they're fun to play with. I'll drag out my old Magic cards. I haven't done it in a while, but if I do, I'll drag out my old Magic cards, make a deck, and say we're not going to kill each other here. We're just going to play a nice game. Let's have a fun game to
Yeah.
play. So I don't consider it exploitation. I guess that's the way to put it.
Well, certainly in the news, loot box and video games gets a lot of news play because it is a gambling model and an exploitative model for the most part. I don't think we have that as strongly in board game TCGs. As far as expandable or living card games, which are basically TCGs without the gamble element. If you buy, a living card game booster pack, you're getting all the cards. So it's not random on which cards you're getting. I think a lot of people really dig the hunt, the random, the gamble, so to speak. So I think that is the majority of what TCGs offer over living card games.
Agreed. And Corey, with that, let's get down to play testing. All right, Corey. As I said, this is related, right? We have a related question from
Well,
before.
next week's question
Oh,
is
next week's
related.
question is. All right. The next week's question. Last week's question, you gave us both of them. What was last week's question? We had a lot of answers. We had 2 pages of answers in here. I love to
Yeah.
see that.
So
What is
last
it?
week's question was with regard to board game inserts, do you keep the stock inserts that come with the game? Do you remove or throw away the stock insert and then replace it with plastic baggies or maybe replace it with blinged out inserts? And yeah, we got a lot. And it felt pretty evenly split to me.
It's yeah,
So
it's
we've got,
it's
yeah,
passionate and pretty even on which way to go.
I like that. There's not a trend to that, all third-party inserts are terrible, and there's not a trend that you always keep stock or any of that. Everybody's got their own thing, which I absolutely love.
Evan
So,
Evan Halbert says I always keep the insert. Can't bring myself to throw anything away. It's a problem. Yeah,
I get
that's
that,
the
even in
OCD kind of
legacy
thing, right?
games. Yeah.
Yep.
Mario Sousa said, "Can I work with it?" Yes, I keep it. No, out it goes, and baggies it is.
Yeah.
In general, I already use baggies in most of my games because they come with standard inserts. True, very true. I kind of work on the same method.
Right.
See what works.
VD Ward, he says it depends on the type of game, how well the insert functions, and if expansions and if it fits the expansions when I get those. For card games or games with lots of cards, I usually throw out the insert because most of the times the insert isn't designed for sleeved cards. Either they do not fit sleeve cards or the deck gets too thick and it doesn't fit in the insert anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
It's
try.
it's
They really
it's like
try.
it's like function. I mean, I think that's where we all were, and well, you and I were last week when we talked about this. If it's functional, then we use it, and if it's not, toss that thing. What else you got?
James DePaula, James DePaula said, "I'm all in on folded space and 3D printed inserts. For the type of heavy Euros I like, there are pieces everywhere. No insert, or even a bad one, can keep the game from being played. A good insert, like many Etsy 3D printed ones for Feast of Odin, get the game played even more often. Setup can become as easy as simply as removing little boxes and placing them around the table. That's the big one for me. If setup gets a lot easier, then I'm all in on a third party insert."
Right. Tiago Ali de Oliveira, and he has and Bueno is his last name. For most games, I keep the inserts and bag the items. For some games, usually the ones I play a lot, I get folded space or equivalent inserts. So yeah, I think this is
We
it's one of those questions that like,
we've got a response from strange guy here, Ray Greenlee or
oh, there he
something.
is, our sexy voice man.
Ray says, depends on the game. If the insert is good, I'll just use that, e.g., Ironwood or the Reckoners. If the insert is functional, I'll generally keep it and use bags to organize everything that the insert does not address. If there's a lot of pieces, in the past, I've made my own inserts from foam core to help keep things organized. I've done that too. I don't have much time for that these days. I've also gotten third-party inserts for Gloomhaven and Frosthaven because they have so much in those boxes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Agree 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's really about what's in the box, how much you can put in there and get things out when you need it, and whether or not you're going to go with keeping an insert, buying a new insert, and things like that. All right, Corey, now like the stars aligned with the question that you
I
created
know, it's so
weeks and
funny.
weeks, maybe months ago, and I literally just threw it into this week's question, having no knowledge, and I swear to our audience that we were taking a question in playtesting that was almost identical. Corey, what's the question?
My question is, what would sell better? An absolutely gorgeous blinged out game with absolutely terrible gameplay, or a brilliantly designed game with just ugly, ugly, ugly production?
That's awesome. Um, I,
The pretty game would sell better. It's sad, but it would.
it's funny. I'm gonna say I'm really torn because I don't want to say that the
I
pretty
think they're
game.
different. Nobody wants to say it, but I think they're different curves. I think the pretty game would sell very well and then quickly die. And I think the ugly
Oh,
game would slow burn and last longer.
well, that's exactly 100% right. I agree with that 100%. But which game would sell better? Period. Right. So it's right. Oh my God, this looks great. I'm gonna buy it. Oh, this game sucks, and then nobody buys it. Oh, this game
Pretty game.
is ugly, 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 and but oh wait, I played it. It's great. I think that the ugly game is going to sell better in the air quote long run over the course of, let's say, 2 years, a life cycle of 2 years, which is long in this industry. I'm going to go
Yeah.
that I would hope the brilliant game with the ugly production does better, and then it gets a second edition where it becomes pretty as well. That's what I hope.
You're
So,
changing it.
oh, but
I disagree.
it's a tough one. I just don't want it to be the
Pretty
beautiful
sells.
game.
That's why we make games pretty.
Yes,
Is pretty sells. You
but
want a brilliantly designed game. You always do. Nobody wants to put out a badly designed game. But what makes it sell? The art. You're never going
the
to sell it
art, the
all if the art's not
production,
there.
all the items in the game, right? It's
Yeah.
not just the artwork, right? It's like, what bits are in the game and stuff like
And we've
that.
got a
But
bit of power creep. That standard of what is art in a board game has been steadily rising over the
yep.
past 10 years. We have a minimum art where your game just won't even get noticed if you don't hit it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm really, really curious to hear what everybody else says. I'm praying that all of you out there will help me out and say that it's the brilliantly designed game that's just ugly as all hell beats the absolutely gorgeous game with terrible gameplay. I'm hoping. Let's see what happens. Corey, I've already put the question out there. We're already getting answers to
You're
it, which we will
so
not
good.
take.
Oh,
I'm so good. I'm so on top of
wow.
my game, even though I'm like, in this gorgeous area here that I'm looking out and seeing waterfalls. And why am I doing this podcast with you when I should be out there on my balcony? Anyway, please go over to the guild,
That's
all
a
of you
good
out
point.
there. Go find the playtesting thread with this question and post your answer. Hopefully, we'll take it next week. And now, let's go over to the final scoring. Thank you all so much for listening, and help us spread the word about this podcast by telling your friends to download Board Games Insider wherever they like to get their podcasts, or watch Board Games Insider on the Podfather of Gaming YouTube channel. Do you want to be part of this podcast? You can. Just go to our guild on Board Game Geek. First, become a member if you're not. Then ask us questions for the strategy and tactics segment. Answer our question to you from playtesting, and I know you can figure this out. Go do it, please. Interact directly with us on social media. The handle is the same across all the platforms, X and Facebook and TikTok and Blue Sky and YouTube. It's at Board Games Insider, at Portal Games US, at Podfather Gaming, at Dice Tower Dish, at Play to Z Games, and at Board Above Board TV. Choose whichever one you like. You're going to be talking with us. We really love to see you in person at an upcoming convention for those going to Gamma or Dice Tower West, which are the immediate ones coming up. Hopefully you'll see both of us. Corey, I hope you take care of your lovely wife, Renee. I hope she gets better. Board Games Insider is professionally edited by Jake Thompson. Thank you, Jake, for being part of the team. And that great voice you hear during the intro, the outro, the in-between segments is that of Ray Greenlee. He can be contacted to do your voiceover work at raygreenleevoiceover.com. Corey, brings us to the end of another amazing episode with you. Would you like to state anything else before we leave? And with that dead
No,
silence,
I've done driving for a while. I might have done too much.
I hear you. The only thing I'm gonna state is that Hobbiton is magical. It really is.
I
And
I do want to put out there that if you watch the Winter Olympics in Canada, it
yeah.
is a very different experience,
Oh, is it?
and
Okay.
every commercial is about hockey.
A, about Olympic hockey or
Nope,
professional hockey or every
doesn't
hockey?
matter what you're selling. There's hockey in the background.
Not curling, hockey.
Hockey.
Did you hear? Oh, did you hear about the controversy in curling this year?
No.
Yeah, it was. I don't even know exactly what it was about, but there was a cheating controversy in
Oh
curling.
my.
Look it up because curling may be the greatest invented sport of all time. When you
I think it's really cool.
take rocks, and you push them across ice to hit a target.
And
It's
you manipulate the slipperiness of the surface. I just think it's really cool.
when
And
I
physics
first,
are still arguing about why it works.
I literally the first time I saw that sport, I said, "This is the single dumbest thing I've ever seen in my
No,
life."
it's amazing.
So that was my first impression, and now I think it is absolutely astonishing. And like you said, how do the physics really work? Does the silly brooming, it really curves the thing, and it
It it works
amazing.
and we don't really know why. There are current physics arguments about why curling works the way it works. I find it fascinating.
It is absolutely fascinating. All right, Corey, thank you so much for being here. And listeners, thank you also for listening to two idiots, sometimes three idiots, talk to you for about an hour every week. Thank you
Sometimes he
again.
counts as two.
Me and my ego, we count it. So goodbye, everybody. See you next week.
See you later, everyone.